Plastic pollution sucks. Popularized in the 1960s, we've placed an emphasis on convenience ever since. Of the things you throw in your trash can, plastic takes the longest to decompose by far. Taking up to 500 years to break down naturally, trashing single-use plastics is detrimental to the environment. Reduce your use of these items. If you have to use them, try and reuse them. After this, recycle. Today, I will cover the 3R method, plus dive into microplastics and explain why plastic pollution is terrible for the environment. Reduce your use. Courtney Lindwall from the Natural Resource Defense Council explains that single-use plastics are goods that are made primarily from fossil fuel-based chemicals and are meant to be disposed of right after use, often in mere minutes. Single-use plastics are most commonly used for packaging and serviceware, such as bottles, wrappers, straws, and bags. Can't wait to get home to eat your takeout? Use the packet of silverware we've provided you. Do you have sensitive teeth? Use our plastic straw. Can you see where this is going? Reducing is the most important step in the 3R method, as it is totally avoiding the plastic process. One easy way to not use plastic straws through your life is to only unwrap paper straws, or simply buy a reusable straw and never unwrap a plastic one. Another way to reduce use of plastics is to carry around reusable bags in your car. This way, when you go shopping, you have pretty bags to check out with and have no use for the single-use plastic bags they provide. We as humans are bound to use plastic through our lives. What we can do as individuals to lessen our carbon footprint is what matters most in the long run. Number 2. Reuse. Let's say you do end up with all sorts of plastic trash. What now? You should look at ways in which you can reuse them. Not only can this save you money, but it can save the environment in the process. Let's say, for example, you were at the store and forgot your reusable bags. If you were forced to take plastic bags home, there are many ways in which you could reuse them. I personally take them on walks to pick up my dog's poo and use them as trash bags so I don't ever have to buy from the grocery store. There are many ways in which you can come up with creative ideas to reuse plastics you end up with. Plastic can also be used in renewable energy combustion. This is a controversial process due to the release of greenhouse gases, and better alternatives for renewable energy sources are available. Nonetheless, the EPA estimated that 5,620,000 tons of plastic in 2018 was used to create energy for the U.S. Reason number 3. Recycle. Recycling won't solve the plastic crisis, but it could curb a lot of the impact. There are 7 classifications of plastic. It's found plastics types 1 and 2 are easiest to recycle, and all others are hit or miss. Is it worth throwing them in your blue bin or traveling to the recycling center? Just because you don't know doesn't mean it's not worth the shot. If you have gotten the most use out of a piece of plastic that you could have, recycling is a great way to ensure your plastic ends up in the right place. Recycling centers and facilities are places that collect, organize, and sort recyclable material for you. There are even services that collect it in a big can at the end of your driveway. A visual demonstration of why you should recycle is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. National Geographic explains that the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is a collection of marine debris in the North Pacific Ocean. The garbage patch is actually 2 distinct collections of debris bounded by massive North Pacific subtropical gyres. This devastation has an adverse impact on marine life in the area.
Something that has a big impact, but
it's actually quite small, is microplastics.
I interviewed Dr. Kelly Lazar to gain some insight into what microplastics are and how they impact the environment.
I do a lot of research in coastal environments and sand that's being deposited. And so recently I've been looking at the types and amounts of microplastics that are deposited in these sort of coastal areas. Another thing that I've done is look at the 4 main types of plastics and see what their prevalence is in the depositional records. So like, are some kinds of plastic preserved in sort of the shallower depths, and then you get different kinds that are sort of deposited in the lower depths?
Nurdles, initially to me, sounded like a funny word, but when it comes to understanding plastic pollution, they're important to understand.
And so they're like sort of the primary plastic. If those like break open in a river, then you've got these little nurdles sort of floating around and floating downstream.
If you wish to make a change, it starts within. Dr. Lazar leaves us with some wise words to take with us into consideration for the future.
But as an individual, one of the greatest impacts that you can have on a day-to-day basis is the products that you choose to use in your life and bring into your life.